The 6th and 7th of Jessa Duggar and Ben Seewald's children were just born. But hold on, there's a startling turn of events that fans were unaware of. Will the Duggar family's entire life change as a result of this surprise? Stay tuned as we explore every astounding detail you require. Although Jessa Duggar may have believed she was merely providing an update on her and her family's recent activities, her most recent YouTube vlog became much more than that in the eyes of her detractors. Jessa is facing a lot of criticism from individuals who believe she is endangering her child after her youngest child, George, age 1, was shown wearing an amber teething necklace in the video. Jessa, her husband Ben Seewald, and their 5 kids, like the rest of her family, spent a few days at Fort Rock, which offers a family-friendly summer camp experience and a charming Old West-inspired Minatown to explore. The camp is owned by Joanna's husband Austin's family, but the Duggars started visiting 4 years prior to their marriage. George is seen wearing an amber teething necklace and relaxing in his car seat as the family drove to camp. On Reddit, fans expressed their worries right away. However, some weren't shocked that Jessa would use a potentially dangerous teething treatment on her kids. Unfortunately, I'm not surprised by this because they don't give a damn about their kids' safety. Their goal is to get as many views and money as possible. One commenter wrote, "That's it." One critic commented, "Look at how down low the harness buckle is on the baby. That's not the correct way to buckle them in. I'm sure they turn them forward facing ASAP too." Another critic added, "The necklace is stupid and could be dangerous as well, obviously." The teething necklace wasn't the only thing that caused the concern though. However, I believe that car seat poses a greater risk. Experts advise against using amber teething necklaces. In this instance, it seems that Jessa's detractors are correct. Hopefully someone in her life will speak up. We'd hate to see anything happen to precious baby George. Jessa Duggar and Ben Seewald are expecting their 6th child, and the former is recently expecting a child. The American Academy of Pediatrics has long maintained that amber teething necklaces are not only dangerous, but also ineffective in helping young children get through the pain and discomfort that comes with teething. Revealed some pregnancy updates on Jinger Duggar and Jeremy Vuella's podcast. Ben and Jessa talked about a wide range of topics, including how their relationship started, the pressures of being in a public relationship, and the sex of their 6th child. Ben also revealed that Jessa is due on July 21st, which means the Seewalds will be welcoming their child in less than 2 months. Instagram photo of a sonogram. Jessa hasn't shared much about her pregnancy since she announced she was expecting, but she recently talked about baby number 6 while visiting sister Jinger in California. Having a large family may not seem like a big deal to someone who was on the show 19 Kids and Counting, but Jess revealed that she and Ben weren't originally planning to have a 6th child. After having their 3rd child, Ben and Jessa, boy or girl? At the end of the podcast, Jinger and Jeremy asked the question that everyone has been wondering. Is baby number 6 a boy or a girl? Before responding, Jessa explained that historically, she and Ben don't share the gender of their baby before birth, even though they started saying this is the last one. However, a year and a half or 2 years later, they would start getting baby fever again. Although the two of them learn about it, they typically share the news with Jinger and Jeremy because they live so far away. Jessa Duggar Seewald, one of the most famous daughters from the Duggar family dynasty, has once again been embroiled in a contentious online controversy. Although the former 19 Kids and Counting star has mostly avoided the spotlight in comparison to some of her more outspoken siblings, particularly since she still shares bits of her life on social media even after Counting On was cancelled. Jessa recently shared what she probably thought was a sweet and innocent picture of one of her youngest kids, a toddler wearing casual clothes at home. However, she may not have expected the overwhelming amount of criticism she would get for a single item the child was wearing. An item that some fans and critics have called inappropriate and even dangerous for a child of that age. Swiftly turned from simple mom shaming into a full-fledged online controversy that reignited a larger discussion about parenting decisions, internet policing, and the Duggar legacy of control, judgment, and selective transparency. At the center of the controversy is a simple piece of jewelry, specifically the necklace that looks to be an amber teething necklace worn by Jessa's toddler. Originally popular among natural parenting communities for their alleged ability to soothe teething babies, these necklaces have come under scrutiny in the last few years. Pediatricians, health experts, and even safety groups like the American Academy of Pediatrics have cautioned against their use because of the possibility of strangulation and choking hazards, but many parents still use them because they say they see genuine benefits. Jessa's supporters have tried to defend her by pointing to anecdotal success stories and personal experience, but that didn't stop the barrage of criticism that dominated her post's comment section. The public's response was swift and intense, with some commenters accusing Jessa of promoting unsafe parenting practices to her large social media following, while others used the incident as a chance to criticize her broader parenting style, bringing up old grievances about how she handled previous medical concerns with her children, or her choice to give birth at a young age. What started out as a cute family update swiftly turned into a judgmental storm, questioning not only Jessa's choices, but also her very fitness as a mother. Jessa, who has frequently portrayed herself as a more balanced and modern Duggar sibling, still holds many of the values derived from her conservative Christian upbringing, such as a belief in natural parenting techniques, and the reaction was, in many ways, not just about one necklace, but about years of pent-up tension regarding the Duggar family's approach to child-rearing health, and their perceived rejection of mainstream medical advice. The backlash also rekindled conversations about how female members of the Duggar family have historically been policed by the public and by their own community. Jessa, like her sisters, grew up in a world where image management was paramount, and she was taught to prioritize modesty, close family ties, and awareness of secular influence. However, as the cultural tide continues to shift, even those ideals are being challenged more aggressively, especially when children's safety is involved. But now that she's a mother of 5 and navigating the world as an adult woman, those rules seem both out of date and restrictive. Supporters contend that Jessa should be allowed to parent in peace, and that the criticism she receives is frequently based on misogyny masquerading as concern, while critics contend that she should know better than to share content that is controversial, particularly when it involves her children. May appear insignificant, but it touches on topics like autonomy, changing roles in the family, and the boundaries of social media etiquette. To make matters more complicated, Jessa has a complicated relationship with public attention. Unlike her sister Jinger, who has written a candid memoir and actively distanced herself from the family's beliefs, Jessa has largely stayed silent on contentious issues, though she did post a video last year defending her decision to have a DNC procedure following a miscarriage. Critics who, this silence has often worked to her advantage, allowing her to maintain a quiet presence online without becoming too embroiled in drama. But in this case, the scale of the backlash has grown so loud that silence may no longer be a sustainable strategy. She claimed to have had an abortion, which was one of the few times she publicly reacted against judgment. Nevertheless, many believe she rarely addresses criticism directly, instead letting online debate swirl around her without much intervention. Noting that the response to Jessa's post hasn't been totally negative, a sizable portion of her fan base has defended her, claiming that the internet has become far too aggressive in prescribing how mothers should raise their children, pointing out that parenting is extremely personal, and that it is cruel and counterproductive to shame a mother for wearing a necklace that millions of parents have worn for years. This group sees the criticism as yet another form of discrimination rather than a constructive concern, a case of performative outrage, in which people jump at the opportunity to attack someone in public, and they claim that if the necklace were really that dangerous, it would be banned completely, but it is still sold on numerous websites, seeing Jessa as a scapegoat for a decision that millions of people make in silence every day. However, the criticism of the amber teething necklace isn't totally without merit, as health organizations have issued several warnings, and there are. Although Jessa has not directly addressed the backlash, her fans are now closely monitoring whether she will remove the photo or provide any sort of explanation. Historically, when Duggar family members are involved in scandals, no matter how minor, there is usually a brief period of outrage followed by radio silence. Experts advise parents to err on the side of caution and choose safer alternatives like frozen teething rings or gum massages. This episode also raises questions about the burden of online motherhood. Like many influencer moms, Jessa shares glimpses of her life to stay connected with fans and maintain relevance in a post-TLC world. The moment she shares something as seemingly benign as a snapshot of her life, it seems as though it will have more lasting power than moving on or continuing to debate until the next controversy arises. As a child, she exposes herself to scrutiny from people who frequently don't know anything about her daily life. The internet has created a bizarre paradox where women are expected to be honest and open, but when they do share, they are brutally judged. The stakes are even higher for Jessa, who is already scrutinized because of her well-known last name, as every post has the potential to spark controversy, particularly when it comes to how she raises her kids. This all occurs at a time when the Duggar family is. The shocking conviction of her brother Josh Duggar on child sexual abuse material charges continues to cast a long shadow over all members of the family, and many fans and critics view the Duggar brand with skepticism, questioning whether the family has ever been honest about their values or their intentions. Although Jessa has distanced herself from Josh's crimes and denounced him, she is unable to completely escape the stain of that association. For some, the necklace is just another scandalous and re-evaluated name. The controversy surrounding Jessa Duggar and the baby necklace she featured in her photo is ultimately a small story with big implications, illustrating the power of social media to both connect and divide, to uplift and vilify, and reflecting the increasingly narrow line public figures must walk when sharing their personal lives online. For some, it's just a necessary critique of a dubious parenting choice, while for others, it's an excuse to air their grievances with the Duggar family as a whole, whether justified or not. Whether she decides to respond or not, one thing is certain. In the digital age, even the smallest decisions can lead to the biggest debates. Jessa Duggar may have believed she was just sharing a precious moment with her child, but she opened the door to a heated cultural debate that isn't going to stop anytime soon. This may serve as a lesson in the dangers of transparency, particularly when it comes to something as delicate and closely watched as motherhood. During a surprise appearance on Jinger and Jeremy Vua's podcast, Jessa Duggar Seewald recently revealed the gender of her sixth child to her sister Jinger Duggar Vualo in a touching and subtly dramatic moment that immediately captivated the attention of both Duggar followers and reality TV fans. This revelation not only added another piece to the already growing Duggar family tree, but it also offered a unique look into the close sibling bond between two sisters who grew up in the spotlight. This time around, Jessa and her husband Ben Seewald, who have made a name for themselves by sharing significant family events on social media and YouTube, decided to do something a little different. Rather than making a standalone announcement, they chose to include the surprise in a casual but sincere conversation while visiting Jinger and Jeremy's house in California. The moment was spontaneous and unplanned, which made it even more poignant for fans who have been following the family for more than 10 years. Ben was the first to bring up the idea during the podcast recording. Ben turned to Jessa with a sly smile halfway through the episode, as they were talking about their impending baby and family life, and asked if they should reveal the gender right away. Jessa, who is always the more reserved and cautious of the two, agreed, but with the caveat that the gender reveal would have to be censored in the podcast audio so fans wouldn't know just yet. But in typical Doug fashion, that plan didn't exactly go off without a hitch. Many longtime fans quickly figured out what was said after hearing the audio bleep. Viewers who read Jessa's lips or noticed the subtle emotional changes in her tone said they saw her say, "It's a boy." The rumors quickly spread through fan pages, social media threads, and online forums, with the unanimous opinion that baby number 6 is indeed a boy. Although Jessa and Ben have not yet confirmed the gender on their own platform, the excitement among their fan base has already taken on a life of its own. Jinger also experienced an emotional moment upon hearing the revelation, as she had been especially close to Jessa during their childhood. Her face lit up with joy upon hearing the surprise, and her genuine, wide-eyed, and heartfelt laughter reaction highlighted the two women's enduring sisterly bond. It was the kind of authentic moment that is rarely seen in the carefully manicured world of influencer culture, and for many viewers, it served as a refreshing reminder of what makes. In addition to sending a strong message to a couple frequently criticized or praised for their large family and traditional values, Jessa and Ben's decision to reveal their gender in such a family-centric setting also reaffirmed their commitment to keeping their core experiences rooted in family first, not fanfare. Instead of throwing a lavish gender reveal party or online spectacle, They chose a private, intimate space shared with close loved ones. Jessa previously said that although she doesn't usually share gender announcements before birth, this particular moment felt right because it involved her sister, someone who knows her on a deeper level than any follower or online audience could. The sixth child will join siblings Spurgeon, Henry, Ivy, Fern, and George. Jessa and Ben have expressed gratitude and joy with each pregnancy, emphasizing their belief that each new child is a gift. The current pregnancy was publicly revealed earlier. Although Jessa has kept most of the details private for the time being, the emotional context of this pregnancy adds even more depth. This year, Jessa has shared few updates about it online, but one noteworthy detail was that her due date is set for late July, meaning that the Seewald household is now in full preparation mode. Nesting, brainstorming names, and making space for another little one have likely taken over their family routine. Jessa's relationship with her sister Jinger has become even closer in recent years, especially as both women have negotiated changes in their beliefs and made the decision to set new boundaries both inside and outside the family. She described this pregnancy as both healing and deeply meaningful, calling it a redemptive joy after a difficult period. She said that the loss she opened up about with vulnerability and raw honesty made her more grateful than ever for this new chapter. Embrace the gender reveal as a close-knit and encouraging sisterly occasion, free from some of the more strict lessons of their childhood. It was more than just a baby announcement. It was an act of joy, love, and trust that spoke to them on many levels.